Same in Dells though.
Yo, Flurs, how you all doing? Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. I'm glad you all could make it on this fine evening. Sorry we started a bit late, but family came and yeah, it's difficult to get children to bed early when family comes along. Anyway, we got in Michael Khan, PJ Cruikshank, and Ryan is in chat. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Oh, good.
It's good to see you. I did do my settings for the sound tonight, so I really hope it is right. Would you please just let me know in chat if you can hear everybody? It would be very, very appreciated.
Did you find out what were wrong?
My settings in OBS and my computer changed.
You should write it down, and then you know what to, if it happens again. Like
yeah, I should actually. But I did test it out on a stream today, and it seemed to work, so I really hope it's doing well. So I'm just going to say hi to everybody in chat for coming. It's good to see you all here. Glad you could make it. Hey, we got Jeff Conkle in as well. Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, Mr. Conkle.
So we got Michael Connie and Ryan is in. Sovereign Soul Unchained. Hello. Good to see you, Jeff Conkle. Thank you for coming. Olaf, that's Astro, the guy we're talking about tonight. Good to have you in. Thank you for doing these response, Olaf. Really appreciate it. It's good to have you here. Skeptic 936, haven't seen you in a while, mate. It's glad you could make it. He says he's been very busy. Skeptic is ace. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you being here, mate. Dwight, hello. Good to see you too. Coral Opal, hello. Thank you for coming. Chocolate Nico, good to have you in, mate. Skeptic already knows what 1 stands for, so yeah, that means you can hear us. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Perfect audio. Awesome. So, guys, please would you be able to share the show and hit the likes? It really does help to get the show out to a wider audience.
I forgot to share.
Yeah, and Olaf, I will be sticking your video link in so people can go and subscribe to you, definitely. I mean, he does need the help, guys. He hasn't got a lot of subscribers. I think he's got I'm actually going to like it as well. He's got 24 subscribers, guys. So
I'll subscribe if you post.
Yeah, he's actually a very decent guy. I really got nothing against Olaf. Obviously, we do differ in the way we see things. But awesome. I'll be in here in the beginning since I have no stress, mate. We should actually set up a discussion sometime. I think that'll be quite cool. Because
I've subscribed, mate.
Awesome. Because out of a lot of the anti-flat earthers I chat to, this guy is very respectful, at least what I've seen. So I do respect you, man. Okay. So this
it does sound weird hearing respectful and anti-flat earth on the same sentence. So. In general, or not, but yeah, fair play, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him an anti-flat earther then. I would he's a globe apologist.
There we go, that's better.
Because I think there's a difference between anti-flat earthers and globe apologists. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Hey, Jeff Gassett, good to see you, mate.
I'll tell you the difference between an anti-flat earther and just a normal globe, or even a globe apologist. A globe apologist and a normie could always be woke up to it. An anti-flat earther has chosen not to even acknowledge it. You know.
Yeah, let's put it like this way.
They'll never seek truth.
Yeah, let's put it like this way. Like if you take conspiracy cats, that's an anti-flat earther. Yep. If you take STST, that's an anti-flat earther. They, no matter what's presented to them, they would troll you and call you an idiot and a moron and not concede they were wrong just to keep their delusion alive. You understand? That's an anti-flat earther. They go out their way to try and say, oh, you flat earthers are so dumb. Look how bad you are, you know? Even if you can show them a blue block and they say it's not a blue block, while on screen it's showing a blue block.
Yeah.
You understand?
They call it a parlor trick.
Yeah, they call it a parlor trick, exactly. But I mean, what can we do? Okay. You guys ready to start this? This has got to do with the entropy. This is his number 1. So, Olaf, we put on here, because I haven't watched this yet either, so I think it's going to be quite good. Olaf's response is him conceding he was wrong. Yes, he did 8%. No, he did not. 42%. Not sure. Let's see, 50%. So 50% say we're not sure, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So this is his response to the entropy argument. So what do you guys say? What did you guys click on before we start though?
I did the
I
natural.
remember.
Yeah.
Hold on. Olaf's response is inconsistent. He
Yeah.
was wrong. Yes, he did. No, I think I put yes, he did. Like, but
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I put we'll see.
Sure.
I put we'll see.
Yeah, same as.
Just because I don't know, we'll give him a chance. We got to give everybody a chance.
Exactly.
I'll be honest. I don't think I read it properly.
Nah.
But
Yeah, I've done that before.
I'll stand with what I said, Olaf, even if I'm wrong. Like,
Okay. And yes, I will concede if I'm wrong with something, by the way. I've done it many times. Okay. Let's watch this.
We'll see that.
Just that music, unfortunately. Okay.
Hello everyone and welcome
Hello.
to the first actual response that's not just an informational video. So, in today's video I will be talking about the first kind of round of things that Flatzoid has said in his stream, which will of course be linked in the description. And yeah, so I've managed to watch the whole thing through a second time and make some notes, so
Yay.
let's hear what Flatzoid is actually saying.
Yes, how's that? Hey, Mark Kaplan, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. So he's managed to watch it twice through. That tells you he's at least eager to engage. Because a lot of the time, these anti-flat earthers don't really watch a thing through. They think they do, and then that's it. They either just leave it or they make nonsense claims up, not even realizing what they watched. So that's a good thing. That voice is familiar somehow. Yeah, I wonder whose voice that is. No, he's an astronomer. Yeah.
so he looks at stars and then he knows what.
One of the
What's wrong with that?
scientists.
No,
I'm
don't
just
worry.
kidding.
You're going to see everything that this guy presents as so-called trying to correct me, and unfortunately I'm going to have to correct him every step of the way. So,
Oh boy, it appears that Flatzoid was not happy with what I said. He apparently had to correct me every step of the way. Something, Flatzoid, did you want something else to say?
no, he's an astronomer.
sorry. Did you have something else to say there, Flatzoid?
Can I just comment?
From
Yeah,
Wikipedia?
go ahead.
I think I don't know, when I first saw this, I thought it might have been an anti-flare flight.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you
So-
thought? Yeah, but we always have that first opinion on
Yeah.
someone, especially when you're so into this every day. We're doing reviews on a lot of these anti-flat earth channels. You kind of get red flag already, like everybody is anti-flat earth type.
Yeah, you're on your guard for it.
So you get attack dog like, you could say.
Yeah,
The antics.
it's a bad way to be, like, but when you getting constantly attacked, you start to think that everybody's attacking, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Entropy is a scientific concept.
Wrong.
Only a flat earther could just, without any counter evidence, just say wrong. I love it. So Flatzoid's verdict, in a nutshell, are my sources are wrong. I am projecting my ignorance. Entropy is a process, and I'm wrong.
You see, that response that's the thing that sets my hackles up, like laughing because you're a flat earther.
Yeah, you see that's anti-flat earth like behavior. But yes, entropy in itself is not a concept. You have the concept of entropy explaining the process, but entropy in itself is not a concept, mate. So I don't know if this is maybe a language barrier thing, or I don't know how to explain it.
It may also be what they're teaching, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the issue, because
not
we-
everything they're teaching you all laugh is above board, mate.
exactly. But that's the thing. Entropy is not a concept. So yeah, it is wrong. You have a concept that explains entropy, which is a process, a physical thing happening.
Hmm.
But that doesn't make entropy a concept.
No.
No, it definitely is not a concept.
Exactly. I mean, you work with entropy every day, Jeff.
Yep.
So do I. I mean, my paint drying on a car is entropy, for Pete's sake. It's an actual process.
Yep.
Yeah, you see, you also agrees. Language might be involved in English, isn't his first language.
Yeah, lost in translation. It could be easily that. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's like not English, but like you both speak English and you try to communicate in English. So yeah, things can get
But
lost.
we do not like we teaching gravity Newtonian in like secondary school, and then when you get higher up, they teach Einsteinian. Do you know what I mean? So
That's the thing.
they could actually be teaching that.
But that's the problem that when they try and make things simplified for beginners in any actually subject, they kind of lead you to it's sort of right, but it's actually a lie to get you to understand it. And then when you get to the higher echelons of understanding that subject, they have to say, listen, everything we just taught you is actually wrong.
Yeah.
You
They
understand?
basically said to you everything you've learned up to now, forget about.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. This is what actually is happening. We were trying to have you to understand in a simpler way, so you are able to visualize what you're learning. But that was actually wrong. This is what is actually real. That's why, just like gravity, they teach you it as a force, Newtonian based. But as soon as you go to university level, they say, sorry, Newton's not actually a force. Newton was superseded by Einstein about 108 years ago. It's just the warping of time and space bending in a fourth dimensional mathematical construct. So it is only the appearance of an object being attracted to the ground. So then you have to totally see, listen, yeah, they taught me a whole different 180 of what they think gravity really is. It's the same just as what they can teach with anything else, just simplified.
Yeah. Like I said before, we was taught all weird things at school, like the Earth's core. I was magnetized to the Earth's core at one point. You know what I mean?
No,
There's some gravity as well that I had at one point.
yeah, and yeah, it would be wrong, even if they give it in a simplified manner, because how they're explaining it is mass is attracting mass with a force. So they're saying it's a force attracting mass. So that's one way of putting it. Then the next way they say, no, it's not a force mass attracting mass. There is no mass attracting mass. It's only the appearance due to the bending and warping of a fourth dimensional mathematical construct. You see, they're two different things. They contradict one another. They are literally 180s from each other. So you can't say that just because it's simplest form, it's still the same thing. No. One is a force, one's not a force. One is mass attracting mass, one is not mass attracting mass. One is physically showing the mass and moving to each other, one is saying it's not actually moving towards each other. You understand? So they totally, that's red, that's blue, that's north, that's south. So the one is wrong. They teach you wrong and then correct you later on with something else that's also not actually proven.
Yeah, they teach you wrongly, then correct you, and teach you wrongly again.
Exactly. But anyway, let's move on to the video.
What 1 minute?
Yeah.
Andy Sibley, Flatzoid show. He can talk about whatever he wants, mate.
Well,
So if this comment in chat is going to be to complain, you might not have many more.
well, Andy Sibley doesn't really like hearing how his gravity is taught to him as a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the takeaway messages for this term. Right now, I will only be talking about the things about entropy, as you have maybe seen in the title. So let's have a look at my verdict. So my sources.
I love how you stretch my Flatzoid out to put all those verdicts. Okay, sources are wrong. Let us have a look. Okay.
So wrong. Well, let's have a look. My sources are Wikipedia, as you've seen. Flatzoid complained when I showed the Wikipedia article that Wikipedia can literally be changed, and then he could go in there and change it as it is. That is in principle correct. However, the moderators, they don't just let anyone make corrections. Sure, if you correct it right now, it will stay like that for like a minute or two. But then the first moderator will come in and look and see that you changed it without.
That's interesting.
Depends.
It
What if it's a
depends.
moderator that changed it?
Yeah.
There was a few about 2 years ago. We were having an argument about a height of a mountain. It was still with Ranty, when he was a so-called flat earther at that time. And the height of the mountain was wrong in Wikipedia, so I went and changed it. Last time I checked, it was still that height that I changed it to.
And what about when Level Earth Observer were talking about height, that plane could go?
Exactly.
That literally got changed while they were making video.
That's right.
Or Red Bull Philosophy, when he was still on YouTube, with the Louis Picard upturned edges and all that. They changed the information while we were doing the show live.
Yeah.
And it stayed that way for a long time. So I would disagree. I would agree that yes, moderators can change it, but I would disagree on 1 or 2 minutes and on what subject. A lot of the time, they're not going to pick up changes just like that.
Yeah, not all the moderators are going to be as astute as the next. You know what I mean?
Internet's moderated by AI, and
See,
that can listen and change things willy-nilly.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I say Wikipedia, you can't trust as much as you want to, because it's easily influenced by any person you wanted to. I mean, it's influenced by the consensus of the time. You know what I mean? That's what I said. It could say today that circle outside there is green. And then the consensus says, no, that's not actually green, that's more a teal. So then it goes and changes it to teal. You understand? So because consensus says it's teal, Wikipedia would take it as teal, when matter of fact it was actually green all along.
I trust Wikipedia as far as I can throw it.
But yeah, that's what I said. You can use it as a source, but I wouldn't say it's a very trusted source on all things.
Look
Like
at
references.
Sorry.
Olaf said for the more basic things like definitions, they're pretty quick from
look
his
at-
limited experiences. He's
Look
saying.
at ChatGPT. That uses Wiki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that'll contradict itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it'll admit it's wrong in the same breath and then contradict again. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if that chat bot is using Wiki and it can contradict like that, then what contradictions is in Wiki?
Mm-hmm.
And without being an expert in your field, and is probably going to change it back. So really, whilst in principle it is a valid criticism, I mainly used Wikipedia because they express the basic ideas of a lot of scientific concepts very nicely. And I think the Wikipedia definition is a quantity.
Also, I want to know, what's a scientific concept there? Would anybody be able to tell me what's a scientific concept?
Well,
I-
you can't have a
I
scientific
don't see how you
concept, because you need to test something to be
Got me.
scientific, and you can't test you know what I mean? And a concept is not tested if it's just a concept.
You can have conceptual hypothesis, I would say,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that doesn't make science conceptual.
No.
That's just like a second stage after after using the scientific method. Exactly, Wiki equals flat Earth is scientifically disproven. So, show me, Wiki, how has a flat Earth been scientifically disproven? Last time I checked, shape is not science. Now, I usually get strawmanned with this when I say you can use science to make deductible reasoning on the shape. Like, I can use science to know we require gas pressure to have containment. To have gas pressure require containment. Now, that's a natural law, but I can use science to deduce this. And by deducing this, I've used science and made logical deduction that the Earth has to be enclosed, so therefore not a globe. You understand? So I've just used science to deduce that it's not a globe. Now, did I use scientific method To prove it's not a globe, no. I use scientific method to prove a cause for an effect, aka gas pressure required containment. So therefore the Earth cannot be a globe because it's claimed to be an open system in space. So by logical deduction, it's not a globe by using scientific method. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like when you
Yes,
say
sir.
flat Earth, that's just talking about shape, like.
Yeah.
That's like when I was trying to talk with Bev, as flat as a pancake. I'm not saying Earth is a pancake, and I'm not saying a pancake is a two-dimensional shape. It's just saying in three-dimensional reality we have 3 dimensions. So it would still have undulations even though it's flat. The base is flat.
Yeah.
I think the concept of people saying, like, when we say flat Earth, we're not meaning it's like flat like a table and stuff like that, you know, and that's a problem. I think people just automatically assume that, right? And we know that there's mountains and hills and valleys. It's
Exactly.
I just don't they just kind of, I guess they kind of straw man us on that part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
what I'm saying. The terrain is on top of the levelness. You know what I mean?
All that terrain's measured from a baseline, though, so that baseline's flat.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
flat Earth.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. He says conceptual as in not directly measurable. Like, for example, chemical energy. You cannot directly measure it, but you can define and make it calculations with it. At least that's how it's used in physics. Yeah, but that's not science, though. That's just a conceptual.
What is
Conceptual.
a concept?
It's a conceptual method.
It's a thought, like a concept could just be in your head,
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just a conceptual method.
or it could just be a drawing on paper.
Yeah.
You know, it's not tangible.
Because the thing is, adding science in front of it doesn't make it now scientific conceptual science. You're just not making it science. You're making it pseudoscience. Because conceptual means it's objective, not what? No, subjective. Which is
But that's the trick, isn't it? Though, chuck science in front of it. Like when you see on news, experts say this and experts say that.
because it's making
If it says expert, then you're programmed to think, oh well, somebody knows what they're talking about.
exactly because if you're making it conceptual, you're making it subjective. You're not making it objective. Science is strictly objective.
Yeah, it's observed, tested, and repeated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So you can have a concept to explain, like we said, the process of entropy. That doesn't make entropy a concept.
No.
You're just using a concept to explain entropy. Entropy is a natural law. So when you have a physical process happening, like entropy, for instance, hot to cold, high pressure to low pressure, that's a physical process. You can have a concept explaining that physical process. Note that entropy is always happen. Hence, it's a natural law. It's a tendency always to do so. Yeah.
Chel Mencken says, "Are you a spokesman for the entire flat Earth?" You'll have to go and see Jen and I with it.
Yeah, we do. There's no such thing as a flat Earth community. We're just realists. Okay. We don't need anybody
There's
to.
no leaders in flat
Yeah,
Earth. We have
exactly.
an opinion here. If you don't like opinion said here, go somewhere else.
But it's good to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's true.
If you want to talk to some kind of cult leaders, then go talk to Jaren or
If you want a guru,
or Whitsitt and company or whatever, because they believe they should be some kind of leaders for their cult. But us actual flat earthers, we don't really follow a leader or anything. Okay.
I don't even like being called a flat earther, though.
But that's
to be
what I
honest
say,
with you,
that's
because it does sound kind of silly. It makes us look silly, you know what I mean?
But that's
I
what
don't
I said.
mind it.
For a while, that's what I said. For a while, I didn't want to be subjugated to that because of the how can I put it? You know, the stigma.
about
Yeah, the
it.
stigma you get about it. But when you just say, oh yeah, you know what pisses off anti-flat earthers? Yeah, I'll take it by gladly taking that anti-flat earth role. Because in reality, by proxy, we're all flat earthers. So, yeah, bring it on. Call me a flat earther, I'm more than happy. Groovy, hello, good to see you. He says you're mixing up thermodynamics and entropy again. Oh, my bloody word.
We haven't even got into it yet, Groovy, so I didn't know.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say he's jumping.
You just jumped straight in with that comment, and I bet you haven't even listened to the rest of the show.
Oh, my word.
Of course.
Sorry, what do they call the second law of thermodynamics, guys?
There's the entropy one.
The entropic law.
Entropic law, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Groovy. Okay, let's move on.
Was a pretty conclusive
not
statement.
brightest of bulbs, is it?
Now,
Nope.
Flatzoid only criticized the Wikipedia one, not the other two, which
Yeah.
is fun. Because, so, do you accept those to be real? A Student's Guide to Entropy is a book published by the Cambridge University Press. That's an actual scientific book, right? That's a textbook. You can use this to study physics. So, are you not okay with that? Apparently you aren't. But then again, later on you use my own definitions.
Well, not everything
What?
in a textbook was necessarily fact true,
Well,
is it? Like,
There's textbooks you get today.
like the,
Yeah.
they have textbooks showing you all these little drawings, you know, for like embryos changing into other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
And
mean,
That
they're
was
not
all
real.
a lie.
They're not real.
Yeah.
They're made up drawings, but they're still in textbooks.
there's a lot of textbooks and in the education system that they're still teaching that was shown to be proven wrong scientifically, and yet they still teach it to people.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Like dinosaurs being 65 million years old, and then 10 years later, 65 billion.
Oh wow, Groovy said you said it's hot or cold was an example of entropy. It's not. It's an example of thermodynamics. Thermodynamic process is entropy. You complete idiot.
Yeah, it's all tied together,
Oh
brother.
my gosh.
Really? Okay, let's move on. This guy's a waste of time.
Well, as what you see against me, which it's really not, but we're going to go to that. And the third thing I used is the Oxford English Dictionary under the physics section, which you also kind of didn't like. So here are the 3 citations again. You say that they are wrong. You even say that they contradict themselves, because I say that entropy is not a process, but it says right here.
What? He says that
James,
entropy
mind
is not a process, correct? I'm sure he said that.
I think it is.
I just want to see something. I'm sure you did say entropy is not a process. I just want to go check because I want to make sure. Channel.
I think I heard it too. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, gotta go to my. I keep forgetting. I'm in
7.
my other channel. So videos. Because it'll be under videos now, not live anymore. Olaf.
We've just claimed that the same dude.
Would it be under
3
live
people
now?
can't be wrong, can they?
No, exactly.
Okay, we'll be on the lives then, okay. Let's see. There we go. I think it was this one.
I like that. A detailed history of Narnia.
Okay. Guy presents a so-called trying to correct. See, we just want to find where. Well, because I'm sure you said. No, so I said, oh, you're talking to one right now with three. Mate.
That is an oxymoron in the first very sentence.
Let him talk, you'll bury his son.
Yep.
As well as a measurable physical property that is most commonly associated with a state of disorder, randomness, or uncertainty. That's from the English Wikipedia page of entropy. I have another one from a book from the Cambridge University Press. Entropy is essential.
No, but I want to go. Yeah. Where's it? I think it says it's there.
And I can bring up
Not a process, but a quantity concept. I think that's very clear. I just want to go back here to make sure that's what he. Because yeah, it sounds like he's saying it is. He's very clear. It is a process. Correct, that isn't.
You say that they are wrong. You even say that they contradict themselves, because I say that entropy is not a process, but it.
I say that entropy is not a process. Okay, so he's saying entropy is not a process. Cool. So I'm correct there.
Bingo.
Okay, saying it's not a process. Okay.
It says right here that it can be used to quantify the irreversibility of a thermodynamic process, and if that as
Yeah. Thermodynamic
He said
process.
Keywords. He said it can be used to quantify.
Yeah, this is what I explained in the beginning. You can have a concept, okay, to explain or describe the thermodynamic process. It doesn't make entropy not a thermodynamic process. When the high pressure goes to low pressure, that is a physical thermodynamic process. It's not a concept. It's physically happening. When a balloon explodes, it physically happens. You can quantify it using a concept, but it doesn't make it not a process.
Yeah, it's got entropy as a scientific concept as well as a measurable physical property. I can't see how it can be both.
Exactly. So that's why I said
I'm
might
curious,
just
can you dye?
Yeah.
Can you add a dye to gases? Can you add a dye to it so you could pop a balloon that has a gas, has a coloring in it, so you could see which direction it's going, which like slow motion? That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Not really, but you can use Schlieren optics, where you use convex mirrors and some light refraction into a mirror, so you can sort of see it in shadows, which does help to give you a visualization.
What's that? What they use? Shows you mercury like through a screen, and it looks like there's like smoke coming off it.
I'm gonna show you quickly. Schlieren optic, but I've actually got a
Is
video.
is that what it is?
Yeah. I'm gonna quickly show you.
I didn't mean to sidetrack you.
No stress. I think it'll be interesting. A lot of people don't know what Schlieren optics is, so.
Is that what I was talking?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Oh, we've got an echo.
By the way, guys, thanks all for coming. Please share the show, hit the likes, and I really appreciate everybody coming and supporting the show. You guys are awesome. Really, really appreciate it. Let's see. Trying to see where I had it on my channel. Okay, I think it was. Okay, it should be up. Areas of fluid. I think I showed it here. Yeah. There we go. I don't need the music now, but anyway. See, they're using a mirror. See, it's sort of diffracting the light through there. And it's going to give, see there, you can sort of visualize how the air is moving in front of the mirror. Can you see that? Because it diffracts the light. So you can see how it's moving. This side just looks normal. Now he's going to use flame, is heating up. Look at that. Do you see what's happening to the gas as heating up? It's moving around all over the place. Is it going down or up, guys?
Perfect.
Sure.
It's heat, it goes up.
So this is
And
really
then
an
the cool air
optics.
around it comes up to fill in the space.
Yeah, now look at when he uses a hairdryer. See how it's pushing the air aside? You see it's sort of bubbling all over the place. It looks like it's just going. But look at the energies coming, the heat energy from itself around the...
I love after they shut it off, you can see it rolling up the barrel. It looks sick.
You've got a right echo going, Ryan.
Yeah, it's definitely.
All right, I'll jump out and do that.
Now see, this is a physical process, okay? Now you can quantify this using a concept, like the concept of entropy, okay, the thermodynamic process, but you physically have the thermodynamic process happening. Now you can have a concept explaining this. There we go, look at that. See, that's why they called fluid, like fluid dynamics, gas part of fluid dynamics, because it looks fluid-like.
Yeah.
But gas moves in all directions constantly. Look how dense the sulfur hexafluoride is. Pours it in like a liquid. You can't see it. And by the way, I did mix my words up a little bit there on one of the places here. But anyway, so you don't see anything. But as soon as you use this in optics, you can see how it's pouring in. Look how it's pouring around the glass. But if you leave it long enough, it still displaces into the surrounding medium.
Yeah.
Under the weight of itself in the glass, yeah, it's because it's still heavier than the air around.
Exactly.
Wow.
But eventually, if you leave it long enough, it will just disperse into the surrounding air. There we go. So yeah, that's Aurelian optics, guys. I keep hearing whoop. Someone was
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, what is that?
I went out and come back in because I can still hear that echo.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
it's nothing to do with me.
Hey, John Edwards and Adam, good to see you, and Glenn Selsh. Olaf says, I disagree. Something being a quantity directly contradicts the same thing being a process. But I will elaborate on that further later on in this video. Actually, it can't be a contradiction because to have a process, you require quantity. Correct?
Yeah.
If I have a box of Smarties, I have a quantity of Smarties in that box.
Mm-hmm.
If I open that box and I throw the Smarties out, it's an actual process of the quantity of Smarties being thrown out of the box.
Yeah.
Without, if I have no quantity, I have no process.
Yeah,
So I can have the quantity as a concept explaining the process, but it doesn't make it not a process. Hey, Fireball Ferret, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. And Spuddy, hello.
If that makes entropy a process somehow, right? It clearly doesn't. It's I would like to make this clear because I'm not entirely sure, Flatzoid, if you can properly read. And this is not supposed to be an insult. You have it right in front of you. Entropy is a central concept for many reasons, but a chief function in thermodynamics is to quantify the irreversibility of a thermodynamic process.
It's Wikipedia. Like Wikipedia will tell you you live on a ball, but you can clearly observe and measure no curvature on Earth.
But look at what's written here, though. Entropy is a central concept for many reasons, okay? Remember, they explain entropy conceptually. It doesn't make entropy a concept. Entropy is a natural law. Entropy is a natural law because it has a tendency always to do something. So no matter what you're going to do, it's always going to happen. Okay, but its chief function, this would be the function, means it has a process. Okay? Because it's actually functioning. Its chief function in thermodynamics is to quantify. So when you quantify the actual the function of a concept is to quantify the actual process, it doesn't change the fact that it is a thermodynamic process. You're just giving a concept to explain the thermodynamic process. So therefore it is a process. That's why you can pick up many citations that says it is a thermodynamic process. Even this on screen here is saying it's a thermodynamic process. It's just explaining the concept to describe this thermodynamic process.
It's how learning works, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a combustion engine and you have that piston inside the cylinder, are you just quantifying the expansion of the gas, or is it an actual process happening and you use the concept to quantify that process? Understand?
Yeah.
So when I go and I take a car to a dyno and I have to set the fuel to air ratio, I'm quantifying the process, the actual process happening. Just because I use the quantification of a concept doesn't take away the fact it's an actual process happening, and it's a thermodynamic process. Because that's exactly how a combustion engine works. It works on thermodynamic processes. Work generated. He says you will not find a citation that says entropy is a process.
Still hearing that.
When I read it, it said something about that it's kinetic energy, and that's what entropy is. It describes how kinetic energy can be.
Right, mate. You're gonna, whatever you're using is causing echo, right, bud?
Huh?
You're getting echo too, Michael.
Yeah, but
I can tell you like, but
And it's just from you
it's
guys.
not me.
And it's just from you guys. I don't hear any echo though.
Yeah, it's definitely echo. I don't hear echo, but from the rest of it, yeah.
Other than Flats talking,
Yeah,
it's just
true.
audio chaos for me.
Yeah, it is.
I wish I could help you guys. Maybe, or I don't know. Should I drop out of?
It's
No,
not
it
your
did work
Flats,
when I jumped out a couple times.
So I'll go
somebody's either got YouTube up and or something. I don't know.
Mine's open, but I'm mute.
Okay. What
I know
are the
it's not me
fourth?
'cause
Yeah.
I know it's not me because I have the same settings every time.
Okay.
Me.
What are the 4 thermodynamic processes? There are several types of thermodynamic processes, including isothermic, that's a process, where system's temperature is constant; adiabatic, that's a process where heat is exchanged by a system; isobaric, that's a thermodynamic process where the system's pressure is constant; and isochoric, where the system's volume is constant. Those are all processes, mate. Are you going to concede? This is from pressbooksonline.ufceducation.com. So those are processes, the 4 processes of thermodynamics. Correct, guys? You would agree?
Yeah.
It's processes explained?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say that's what I read, and I read a different.
Yeah.
All of us are afraid to talk. 'cause
Olaf
of the
says, but
echo.
that's not entropy. Really? That's not entropy? Isothermic system is entropy, mate. Where the system's temperature is constant and you see a change in pressure.
1 minute, Flats.
Yeah.
We need to sort this chaos out in here because
Must I drop
I'll
out?
put
Okay.
that come back in that.
Okay,
it's
I'm gonna
literally audio chaos.
Okay, I'm gonna drop out of here as well for you guys quickly, okay? There we go. Okay guys, I'm just gonna drop into them again because they seem to be having issues. I have no idea what's going on, they can't even hear what's going on.
Right.
Is this better?
Hello.
Hello?
That's better.
Hello?
That's
Yeah,
better.
that's better.
That's
Okay. Okay, cool.
It does this every now and again, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where we get audio chaos.
Okay, so as a consequence of the first law of thermodynamics, here is a summary of them thermodynamic processes: isothermic, adiabatic, isobaric, and isochoric. Those are processes, entropic, well, thermodynamic process, but which one would be the entropic? That's on the first law, so. Let's just take, for instance, adiabatic, for instance, okay? Adiabatic is where no heat is exchanged by the system. So when no heat is exchanged, what changes in the system? But yeah, thanks for coming, Olaf. Really appreciate it, mate. Hope to have a chat with you sometime. But yeah, it's definitely a process, and entropy is always a tendency to do so. So these actual thermodynamic processes involve entropy. It is entropy.
How do you like them apples, Circle Jerk? Give that up, you stupid sock ass.
Anyway, thanks guys for coming. Please hit the likes and share the show. Really appreciate it. Cheers, Olaf. Thanks for coming, mate. Hey, my perspective. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's go on.
It's like I say that velocity is there to quantify. It can be used to quantify a kinematic process, for example. Does that make velocity a process? No, it clearly doesn't. And from these statements, somehow I am lost as to why you would come to this conclusion. From these definitions, you conclude that I think thermodynamics isn't a process. Clearly, it is.
What? So he's saying thermodynamic is a process now. Correct? We just saw in the video, he literally wrote out a line there and said, not a process, correct? Or did we miss
I read it.
Yeah, he literally said
I
it's
don't know.
not.
I read it. I watched a video where somebody explained entropy as the amount of usable energy of a system for every process as it approaches its end state. In other words, it's, equalization. So think about that, and it fits right in. It shows that we're right.
But what I'm saying is, he's saying now, he's contradicting himself. In that first video, he even put a line through here saying thermodynamics is not a process. Correct?
That is odd. Yeah, he did. I don't know why he did.
He says not a process. Now he's saying it is a process. And he doesn't come how we say he didn't say it's not a process.
I want that email address as well.
Yeah, can I just say to my perspective, I haven't watched your apology video, but I heard that you mentioned Vicky in it. I'm just wanting you to know that she feels harassed by you. Could you just stop talking about her, please?
No, I need his email address to give him a cease and desist.
Well,
and if he carries on, I'll be seeking legal advice because it's harassment.
Yeah.
Do you feel big harassing a disabled woman, do you? Get a life.
Yeah, just can you not talk about her, please?
Yeah, I think that's quite plain and simple. If she doesn't want you to talk about it, don't talk about her.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yep.
Don't know how you would reach this conclusion. Thermodynamics clearly is a process.
Okay, thermodynamics clearly is a process. Let's go back to where we just saw him saying, because I'm sure we just saw where he said it's not a process. Here we go. Not a process, but a quantitative concept. He literally wrote that on screen. So that's a contradiction then. I'm confused. Is he saying it is a process or not a process? Because he literally says it's not.
It didn't make sense earlier.
Yeah, because now he's literally saying it's not a process the first time. Now he's saying it is a process, and he doesn't understand how we came to say why he doesn't think why we're saying it's not a process.
Maybe he didn't do his homework very well, and he just got it backwards.
Okay.
And entropy can
You know what I mean? Maybe he did this research on the side because because he's a shill. I'm just saying. Sorry.
I don't know.
I'm starting to think he might not be as above board as we think he is.
This is weird. Okay, but let's carry on. Maybe he's got
Yeah,
some
I
to
hate to be
explain.
mean, sorry.
No, it's just let's just see how we can understand what he's trying to say though.
used to describe said process, and entropy is a quantity. I don't think I can explain myself any clearer. Also, all of these three are valid. Feel free to present your own source with a definition of entropy, not thermodynamic process, entropy, and we can see, but you ain't gonna find one. So that's it.
But thermodynamic processes is entropy. Dude, that's what entropy is. Thermodynamic processes. That's what entropy is. A thermodynamic process, hot to cold, that's entropy. Thermodynamic high to low, that is entropy. Can we make it any clearer? Maybe the guy doesn't understand that thermodynamic processes is entropy in a whole.
Who knows what they teach these kids at chuffing school and university, man.
That's why the second law of thermodynamics is called the entropic law. And that's why when you type in the law of entropy, it gives the second law of thermodynamics. Because the process of thermodynamics
Does it need cited
is entropy.
if it's like just a well-established thing? Like, do you actually is it too stupid to ask for citation for that?
I don't. But I mean,
Hence you'll not find one because everybody just knows that's what it is.
yeah. But I mean, let's say I hold a balloon up. I've blown up a balloon. I'm holding a balloon. Okay, and I pop that balloon. What does thermodynamics say? The high pressure would release into the low pressure system. That is entropy. There's more microstates to quantify. The entropy is just the conceptualized quantitative measure.
The decay.
Yeah, the quantitative measure of the thermodynamic process involved. That's it. It's the same thing. The one is just explaining. Entropy, the word entropy is just the conceptual explanation of the thermodynamic process. It doesn't mean it's not a thermodynamic process. It just means entropy conceptualizes in a quantitative manner. It is entropy. It is a thermodynamic process.
I'm gonna speak my mind.
Yeah.
Right. I don't understand why a physics university student is talking about flat earthers and making videos addressing flat earthers. It's almost as stupid as a professor being on YouTube in chats talking to flat earthers.
Well, maybe he feels like he can correct us. Maybe he feels the need to.
I really don't think somebody in his position they'd just hear flat earth and laugh and not get a second thought. I smell a fish, and that's just me being honest.
I think they keep forgetting that we were all once globe believers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know,
we're all there.
and
Oh
because
no,
it's what
no,
we were
I have not
taught.
forgot that. I was going to talk.
Huh? Say again?
I said it's because
I said I was going to say the same thing.
Sorry, who wants to talk first, Jeff or Ryan?
Don't speak at once.
Jeff, go first.
I was just saying that we were all globers once at one point, and it's basically because that's what we were taught, and we were taught the lie. And I always knew that there was something wrong with what they taught. It just bugged me, and whenever I asked questions, I was always dismissed and told, "Go sit in the corner."
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
my teacher didn't like that I was smarter than them.
Yeah,
So-
but that's the thing. In school, you're not taught to question. You're taught to obey.
Yep.
Yep. Doesn't matter what your parents say. This is how it is. Yep, that's good too.
Exactly. And that's the sad reality of it. That's why it's called indoctrination. Let me teach you how to obey the structure of the system instead of let me teach you how to think for yourselves, be critical. It's very sad, actually. Why do you think you get these people with the so-called high IQs, or whatever they would like to say, coming with universities and stuff? Because they're like zombies. They've been conditioned just to accept, like robots, what's been shown to them.
I don't think you need an high IQ though to do well in university.
But think about it. Look at these people like astronomers or whatever. Most of them, they just accept for what they've been taught because that's what it's been taught. How dare you go against this? My professor told me once that I can see a star trillions of light years away. Who are you to say otherwise? You understand? So he's already showing he has no way to have critical thought. He's been successfully indoctrinated just to obey because a person said so. Now when you ask the guy, okay, show me the proof for this. They say, you see, let's look in the sky. No, I want the proof. No, I'm looking in the sky. You understand?
I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if it's not getting tweaked because the no flat earthers are getting out there, and they tweak the teaching in order to circumnavigate this truth that's coming out. If you know what I mean.
Exactly. So yeah, it's weird.
Says that it's a process, so you know. So, Flatzoid, what do you have to say to the definitions?
All it's proving here is if you get loads of different definitions, they all say different things.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can mix them and match
Why is there
them.
music?
Yes, they do have little nuances, don't they?
Mm-hmm. But that's what I say. They just change one little thing a bit to tweak it, just so it sort of contradicts itself, but you don't realize what it's doing. It's like it's seeming, if you read it on the face value, it's saying the same thing, but not really. That's why the way you say something really matters.
How you want it to fit your agenda. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It is possible he's misunderstanding, but let's give him a chance. Let's see what else he's got.
Yeah, but that's also why I said it could be a language barrier thing as well.
I love how they seem to think that.
That's a good question, Dwight. Did you obsess over the globe though when you were a globie?
No.
No.
Nope.
It get a fart, to be honest.
Yeah, all I did enjoy about the globe was I was a big Star Wars fan. I enjoyed space, but I wasn't cult-like, like some of these guys, looking and drooling over in a telescope, looking in the sky, or thinking aliens existed and that nonsense. You know what I mean? I mean, heck, I never believed the moon landings to be real or anything, because I saw through the bullshit. It's like looking at that footage and saying, what the hell? What's wrong with you people? Why are you saying this is real? And that was when I was a glober. You know what I mean? It's like...
My mum watched moon landing live on telly when she was about 10.
Yeah. And what did she say?
She don't believe it.
Exactly.
She don't believe it.
But that's what shows the difference between people that's been successfully indoctrinated and people that are able to critically think for themselves. Because if you had to see that and you're like, why does this look like stop motion photography? Why is there a line here? Why is there's just too much holes? You're going to have to question things and say, okay, sorry, red flags everywhere. Something's not right here. But the problem with a lot of the people, they're just like, how dare you question our government? How dare you question the authority over you? Those people have been successfully indoctrinated. They're just zombies. And it's too painful for them to just accept, yeah, maybe we've been lied to. And then they get into, why would they lie to us? The question is not why would they lie to us. The question is, why would you not care that you've been lied to? I think that's the question you should be asking.
I don't think an anti-flat earther believes in globe, to be honest.
I think they know it's flat. They're just fighting to keep the globe delusion alive.
I don't know what they're fighting for, like, or why. That's the only issue, why.
But yeah, it's really odd. I think it's a way of looking at things differently. I don't know.
I mean, it could just be too painful for him to... But I don't get that either, because I don't really see what's painful about it.
Availability. No, not saying university education is worthless. We're saying you can't just take everything off face value, what they teach you. Okay?
Well, my son's due to go to university next year. Do I think he's going to get indoctrinated? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, but like I said, you can still go get your university diploma and everything and not be indoctrinated, because you can just do it to get the papers so you can get a job. Okay? But it doesn't mean you need to literally believe what they're teaching you. I mean, you can go do... look at Pitch Lumen. He's studying astronomy at the moment. He believes it's a flat earth and we live geocentric. But he's studying astronomy specifically so he can understand on a university level what they teach in astronomy. He knows the bullshit, you understand? So he's going to get his qualifications there and say, but this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is what you taught me. Because his mindset is, yeah, but you haven't proven any of this nonsense. You're trying to tell me that it is true. Because every time you go into a university, they teach you things as fact. Even though it's not proven, they choose it to prove it as fact. Just like gravity, where has there ever been any scientific hypothesis and experiment to prove gravity even exists? None whatsoever. But what do you get? You get things like, oh, but Cavendish used the Cavendish experiment that isn't an experiment to begin with. And it's insane. You get stupid stuff that's just parlor tricks, and then we can go and show things in the Cavendish that show opposite to what they're claiming. You know what I mean? It doesn't prove anything other than they circle reason based on an indoctrination belief. Sovereign says, I have a DMT in philosophy and THC in FE. Wow, that's awesome. Hypothesis treated as fact.
That's a good one.
That's great. Victor Crude, by the way, you know us showing that last night with that lasers? I have Where's Wally telling me you wouldn't be able to see it. The only way you'd be able to see them diverging away from each other is at 111 kilometers away. Then I told him, high altitude balloon, correct? Very high up and very far away with far distances. More than enough space to see your divergent rays. We see no divergent rays, therefore not a globe. That's a black swan and a half, that lasers coming down. I actually want to do a video on it.
I'd like to address Aaron, not to attack him on outright, but Aaron says, hold on. Aaron says, surely it depends on the subject. A degree in nursing is not indoctrination. You'll need to believe and understand it all to be a good nurse. That's true, but there is a level of indoctrination in medical establishment as well. I mean, look what went off with boogie virus.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And it's coming back, supposedly.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. It'll always come back now it's being pushed.
Yep.
Those definitions somehow contradict themselves. They clearly don't. They're all talking about the same thing. If you think that these three definitions aren't roughly the same, I mean, they are more in layman's terms, right? That's the only issue with them. They aren't concise enough, so that you could get some kind of problem out of them, right? Because here it says entropy is a concept as well as a...
Yeah, here it says entropy is a scientific concept. First of all, entropy is not scientific, it's a natural law. Okay? Entropy concept is the explanation describing the thermodynamic processes.
Is space a concept?
Yes, and it's
Is
one that
is it
violates...
physical?
Well, it should be.
But if it's a
Yeah, but
concept,
space should be physical, apparently, according to them, because you can travel there.
yeah, but is it a concept? Like,
Yes, it's just conceptual, so no, it doesn't exist.
so how can it be physical then?
Just like time is a concept.
Yeah, and is that physical?
Nope. Please touch time for me. Stop time for me.
It is conceptual. Think about it. Yeah. The only thing that exists is right now. Everything that happened before you is already past, and everything ahead of you hasn't happened yet.
That's my point. Then how can it be both a concept and be physical?
But that's
I don't know. God works in mysterious ways, I guess.
But as I say, according to the Globers, space would have to be physical, even though it's conceptual, because everything they take as conceptual is physical. Even their gravity, Einsteinian gravity, is a conceptual. How can I put this? A thought experiment in the fourth dimension of mathematics as a concept is taken as physical observation. You understand? It's like watching a movie and deciding when I'm watching a movie, that means I'm physically watching a portal open because I'm watching a movie on the TV. You understand? So they're taking a concept and making it physical in their reality, which is just insane. That's all it is.
So logic.
Physical property, and here it says quantity. But that's not a contradiction. That's just not exactly the same thing. So all of these three definitions agree with themselves.
Sounds like a bad version of Discord.
What's up?
Hey, Discord, how's it going, man?
I was saying this guy sounds like a bad version of Discord.
I'm just chilling.
How's it going?
Speaking of the devil, eh?
Should we read through these three quickly and see how they contradict each other? Let's see. Okay. Entropy is a scientific concept. Already stated, entropy is not scientific. It's a natural law. Entropy describes, aka the concept of entropy describes the actual thermodynamic process. Okay? As well as measurable physical property. So that would mean because it's measurable physical property, it's a thermodynamic process, correct? Physically having a process. That is the most common associated with the state of disorder, randomness, or uncertainty. So, the disorder, randomness, and uncertainty is just the conceptual, quantitative manner explaining the physical process of thermodynamics. Okay, now we move on to number 2. Entropy is the central concept for many reasons. Now, does this say it's scientific like the first one? No. It says entropy is the function in thermodynamics, okay? So it's saying entropy is explaining the function in the thermodynamic process, where this is not saying it is a process. This is just saying it's a concept and it's scientific in the first one. The second one saying it is an actual process explaining the process. So it contradicts each other. Now we move on to the third one. A thermodynamic quantity representing the unavailability of a system's thermal energy for conversion into mechanical work. This, to me, is actually the best one out of all three of them, by the way, because that's practically what it is. A thermodynamic quantity, that would be the entropic concept, as you put it, explaining, which represents the process based on thermal energy for conversion to do mechanical work. This is how an engine works. Often interpreted as a degree of disorder or randomness in the system. So yeah, they sort of say the same thing, but they don't say the same thing because they explain different things. This one says it's a scientific concept, this one says it's a physical thing, and this one explains it in the way of energy and the mechanical work. So they say three different things. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. Definitely.
I do.
So I said, that's why I said maybe it's just a language barrier with the guy.
Loss of how you would think that they don't. And how stupid do you think I have to be to list three definitions that don't agree with each other?
FlatGPT says, please, somebody tell me quickly why it matters if a concept or a process because no one's explained that it's it at all. Why does it matter? What's the significance? Because a concept isn't physical. A process is physical. The concept can explain the physical process. Okay? So they're two different things. I can use a concept to explain the physical process, but you can't call that physical process a concept. It's physical. That's why.
Feel free to provide your own one with a source, of course. So I think we got rid of the my sources are wrong. I will show a bit more later about another source. Let's another thing that Flatzoid has said a couple of times is that I am projecting my ignorance. I don't know, Flatzoid, what do you have to say that I am projecting my ignorance?
Anyway, you just heard him, guys, talk about the process, correct? Saying it's wrong, while it says on his own definition that he agrees with, thermodynamic process. Let's just go back 2 seconds. Just listen to what he says.
Here things like the process of entropy, or like entropy happens and things like that. And I want to make one thing extremely clear. Entropy is not a process.
And what did he say in this video that we watched now? That he doesn't understand how we get this, where he says he wants to make one thing, entropy is not a process. Where he says entropy is a process in this video. So he keeps on contradicting himself. Maybe he can't decide if it's a process or not. Or he doesn't understand what a process means.
How did all this come about? Like, did he just start making a video about you?
Yeah.
Alright.
PJ, yeah, teal is a bluey green, exactly, so it's not actual green. So there's a difference.
Exactly.
Just like you get sea green and you get baby, how can I put it, sea green and seaweed green? Two different greens. They're both green, but they're not the same green.
Oh, there's always one. Yes, there is Black GPT, but that is the truth. It's a bluey green. Simple. Or a greeny blue. Whatever.
Okay, should I have said, okay, why do we say the green stone is red then? Should I say that rather? Well, he's got a definition on screen. The quantum of the irreversible of a thermodynamic. Anyway, you just heard him, guys.
I'm so sorry.
The thermodynamic process.
Yeah. Thermodynamics happens in processes, but nowhere in my definitions does it say that entropy is a process.
I'm lost now, me, because I'm looking at the screen now and it says not a process but a quantity concept. But I thought it was a scientific concept.
Uh-huh.
I'm lost. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe it's just me.
You see, maybe he doesn't understand entropy is just the thermodynamic process. The entropy of an isolated system during a process always increases. Correct? So the quantitative measurement of a thermodynamic process is called entropy. So entropy explains as a concept what happens as a thermodynamic process. So that's what I said. I think this guy just doesn't. That's maybe a language barrier thing with this guy, if I have to put it that way. Because that's what it means. Seems more and more to me like he's just confused because he's not understanding what it means.
I could come up with loads of different ideas, to be honest, but I'd just be speculating, so I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, that's it.
This is why
I'm wondering where he's from. He has this kind of German-like.
Sounds like you, this lad.
No, he sounds more like German.
Olaf is German. Olaf is German.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would
can
say
clearly hear the difference between Danish and Germans, but you know, he sounds German, yeah.
I didn't mean to insult your disc. I'm sorry. I was just having.
No. But there is a difference. It's just I don't expect you all to hear it, but there's a.
Of course, we can't hear the difference, definitely.
Wouldn't you say you are German, this lot?
To me, I think you sound more like Norwegian or Swedish.
No, he definitely sounds Danish.
Yeah,
I sound Danish. I do not sound Swedish or Norwegian.
Okay,
yeah, way more.
You sound
they got like a thing switch.
Availability says he is Norwegian.
Who?
Olaf. I think he's saying Olaf is Norwegian or Scandinavian.
Oh, okay. Just across the water from me.
I don't know. He sounds German to me.
Norway.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder.
It's a few hundred miles across the water.
Why don't we just go look in his channel? Maybe it will say in his about or something. Hi, I'm Olaf. I'm currently writing my master thesis in radio astronomy, blah blah. Okay, it doesn't say where he's from though. Location Austria. There we go, German.
Yeah.
Austria. That's
no,
what I said.
He's Austrian.
Yeah. But
Same difference. Same difference.
I'm just messing with you.
You've probably never watched The Sound of Music before, have you?
True.
The Von Trapp family. But actually, I think the Austrians don't like to be called German, are they? But they speak German.
No, they only speak it. Austria is its own.
Yeah.
So they don't like to be called Germans.
Okay,
Like
so,
Belgium
so we'll just call him Austrian then. Okay, Austrian that talks German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's the same with Belgium and France and that. They don't like to be classed as each of them, and it's the same language, isn't it?
Mm. I mean, just like Afrikaans is offshore from Dutch, doesn't make us
Yeah.
Dutch though.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Previously, if you can read properly, because it doesn't seem like you can, to be quite real with you. Anyway, that's the first thing that I thought when I watched the stream, and until this point, is how would you reach this conclusion?
Easy, the way we just explained how we reached the conclusion.
It baffles me. It truly baffles me. I'm somewhat new to the whole flat Earth thing, right? Not exactly new, but I was aware of it for a couple of years now. But I've only become interested in it like a bit over a year ago. No, a bit less than a year ago.
Oh, so you're still new into
and
this.
I've never-
You see, that's why you're getting mixed feelings, Michael. He's only into this like a year.
Yeah.
So he's maybe in transitioning into a anti-flat earther, like on the borderline. You know what I mean? You never know.
never heard.
He's just trying
Like,
to hold
I
it on.
never-
I'll hold on to it.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's why we have to try to figure out where you draw the line to say they're an anti-flat earther or where they're just a globe apologist. You know what I mean? There's a line that somebody has to try and draw, and we have to figure that out.
Seen this amount of like not comprehending stuff. So, of course, thermodynamic processes exist. Entropy is not a process, although more on that in a bit.
Entropy is not a process. So if I take this jug I have here on screen, okay, and I say I have marbles inside here, and I throw it out in the ground, did I just show you entropy as a process?
Yeah.
There we go. I just showed you entropy as a process. So I think he's trying not to. I don't know. This is also where I think it's not just. Now it can't be a language barrier. Because he's literally trying to say entropy is not a process. I just gave entropy as a process. Entropy just explains the thermodynamic process in a quantitative manner. It is thermodynamics. Availability says no. What? So if
Tell him process that.
So if I have 100 marbles in that small container and I throw it on the ground, there's not more ways to, how can I say, disorder of those marbles in the room. Yes, mate, that's entropy. I literally showed the process of entropy. From more order to disorder. Throwing marbles out of a smaller container to a larger room.
Don't answer the guy. It's probably the exact same person as Circle Jerk.
Never know. Hey, Moxie, thank you for coming, mate. Again, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. Please do share the show. Hit the likes. And I appreciate all your support. You guys rock.
Entropy is not thermodynamics. You know that, Flatzoid, right? Entropy and thermodynamics are two different things. Entropy is, for the most part, unless we're talking about the entropy in information theory or in some abstract parts of statistical mechanics or statistical physics, entropy is a part of thermodynamics.
Oh, so it is thermodynamics then? Because it explains the thermodynamic process. Entropy is the name given to explain thermodynamic processes, mate. Entropy is the name given to, how can I put this, as the natural law, the tendency to do so. So hot will always go to cold. That's thermodynamics. That's entropy. High pressure to low pressure, thermodynamics. That's entropy. It's the same thing, mate. Entropy is just the word for explaining the quantitative measure of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
Same thing. That's why when you type in the second law of thermodynamics, it's the entropic law for a reason.
They are not the same. Entropy is very important in thermodynamics, certainly, but they are not the same. You know that, right? I just want to make sure. Do you have anything else to say about that, Flatzoid?
Not a good start, mate. Maybe you should understand the words you read on screen.
I agree. I very much agree, Flatzoid. Maybe that would be better for everyone involved if they actually understood the things that someone else writes down here.
And I think entropy is a process, still no.
Okay.
So, I think we got away with projecting my ignorance. Maybe I am, but I think I know someone else who is very much projecting their ignorance. Anyway, let's now talk about the main part of this video, right? The entropy is a process and that I'm wrong. So entropy is a process. No, it's still not.
Okay.
Can you cite this?
I'm gonna quickly show him something. Okay, Olaf. We're gonna have some gas molecules. Doesn't matter, different sizes, whatever, it's different gas. Okay. They're all spread out inside this container of a fixed volume. Entropy is explaining the disorder in here, correct? Thermodynamics is saying exactly the same thing, correct?
Yeah.
What happens when we remove the partition? And let's say, yeah, the gas moves out of this container.
Escapeth.
Escapeth. Yeah, escapeth. What happened here? What does entropy say happened here?
It's trying to reach equilibrium.
Yeah.
So, more ways to seek equilibrium. Exactly. So it's showing from more randomness more randomness to order.
No, yeah.
Correct. So you just got more macrostats to have available ways to seek equilibrium. Now, what does thermodynamics say? The gas would fill the available space, which would be entropy.
Yep.
They say exactly the same thing. The word entropy is just explaining the quantitative manner of the thermodynamic process happening. So entropy is the thermodynamic process. If you say entropy, you're saying second law of thermodynamics. It's the same bloody thing. Same thing. Not hard to understand.
And I'm wrong, which is always possible, but could you please show me where I'm wrong and provide sources?
Okay. Let's do this again. The law of entropy. The second law of thermodynamics states that the total entropy of a system either increases or remains constant in its spontaneous process. It never decreases. That's entropy. There we go. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Order to disorder. Ice to water. Welcome to being corrected, mate. Physics. There we go. Physics. Does he need more than that? I mean, really.
Probably.
Wow.
For the things that you think I'm wrong about. So I'd like to give a bit of a better definition of entropy. Don't be scared now, we don't need any of the upper part here. This definition comes straight from
thermostatistics, correct? So he's using thermostatistics. So in other words,
isn't that thermodynamics at the top there?
yeah, thermodynamics and an introduction to thermostatistics. So two different things then, correct? Because it's thermodynamics and or does it say thermodynamics is? So look, postulate 2, there exists a function called the entropy S of the extensive parameters of any composite system defined for all equilibrium states by having the following properties. The values assumed by the extensive parameters in the absence of an internal constant are those that maximize the entropy of the manifold of constrained equilibrium states. This guy's literally debunking himself, guys. Well done. literally what he's got on screen says he's wrong.
The go-to textbook when teaching thermodynamics. We used it in our university to learn thermodynamics. It's by Herbert V. Kalin, and it's called Thermodynamics and an Introduction to Thermostatics, the second edition. I only found the cover for the second edition online. We used the fourth edition, I believe. And in there, entropy, the existence of such, is a postulate, in this case postulate 2. There exists a function called the entropy S of the extensive parameters of any composite system, defined for all equilibrium states and having the following property. The values assumed by the extensive parameters in the absence of an internal constraint are those that maximize the entropy of the manifold of constrained equilibrium states.
You're literally explaining a process here. Literally explaining thermodynamic processes called entropy.
Yeah.
What does that mean? So I understand that for a layman this term is completely useless.
No,
but I will,
straightforward. It's very straightforward. It's just saying entropy is explaining the thermodynamic process. That's what it's saying. Entropy is the quantitative matter, the quantitative stating of the thermodynamic process. In other words, when you say entropy, you're saying thermodynamics. That's what it's saying.
I've made my best try to explain to you what that actually means. So first, the entropy S of a system is a function of extensive parameters. Now what does that mean? Now function is here meant, of course, in a mathematical sense. So as
yeah, because you're using it statistical, correct? Remember when we said thermodynamics and thermodynamic statistics? Saying it's not the same thing? Exactly, remember? It's and, not is. Yeah, because they're using the concept of thermostatics to explain thermodynamics. It's quantitatively conceptualized again, trying to explain the quantitative value in entropy. Just because you make something statistical doesn't make entropy not thermodynamics.
Y is a function of x, you know, f of x, you probably heard that. So is S a function of U, which is the internal energy, or the heat, it's sometimes called, or sometimes heat energy. V is the volume, the N is the number of particles.
Yeah,
if you have multiple particles, it's a function of the number of the particle of the type 1, of type 2, and so on.
Notice, guys, how they always have to have volume. Notice how they always have to have volume in this, in these things. You know why? You always need containment. Okay. Thermostatics, mate.
Until you have gone through all of your types of particles. Extensive parameters are, by the way, parameters that scale with the system. So they are not relative to the amount of particles. Like, for example, intensive parameters would be the intensive U, so the intensive heat would be the normal extensive heat divided.
Can anybody try understand how he's trying to explain it not to be the same thing, yeah? Because you can calculate S, so therefore now entropy is not thermodynamics. I mean, really?
By the number of particles. Of course, again, if you have different particles now, here it gets a bit tricky because you can have different intensive parameters than if you have multiple particles. But that's not important right now. So essentially, what this sentence means that Kalin provides here is that if you know the heat, the volume, and the number of particles for a thermodynamically easy system, sometimes they're also chemical.
Yeah, in a statistical manner, correct? Which explains a actual thermodynamic process. In other words, entropy. Yeah.
Factors in place. If you know these three, you can calculate the entropy, because entropy is a quantity, thus you can calculate for it, by the way.
Hey, Bobby Zinger, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. Glad you could make it.
more about that later. The tricky part here usually is the
Canuck.
heat.
Another Canadian. Hey, mate. Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Drink some eggnog, hey.
Knuckle.
Yeah. No, knucklehead.
Knucklehead, yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah,
Knucklehead?
Yeah.
Well, Canadians are Canucks. And,
Oh.
right. So I that was the nickname I was given when I was younger.
Right.
Because I was crazy and
Like a Scotsman's a jock, so a Canadian's a Canuck sort of thing. Right. Got it. I've got it.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, so remember, it's not a canoe, it's Canuck.
Canuck. Right.
Just be careful, he might just do Trudeau on you.
Is it?
I know you.
hate that guy.
I know. I don't think anybody likes that guy, to be honest.
But it doesn't seem to matter.
No. He still just stays there, does his shit.
Except his wife can leave him. What's up with that? Why can't we leave him?
Unfortunately, you are married to your country.
That's it.
Without divorce papers.
Ooh.
Or like the heat energy. That's the tricky one. The volume is most of the time rather easy, and the number of particles is also not too difficult. The heat energy is where the crux of the matter is. So I thought I would give you a brief calculation for the ideal gas. Now, Flatzoid, I know that you consider yourself to be an expert on the ideal gas. So
Whoa. Who's ever considered to be an expert on the ideal gas law? Have I ever said that?
Not got a clue what them equations mean. Not one clue.
No, you said the world's best expert, but
Yeah.
no, never.
Okay, so pressure volume equals nRT, which would be the amount of gas molecules in a system at temperature. Okay. We use the C constant, yes. Okay, so it's just done a derivative of that, that's all. Okay.
please feel free to show a better calculation. But in principle, I won't bore you with the maths in detail. In principle, you start out with the ideal gas and you form it. You change the.
Let's see. What did I see here? Kanakistan Copex. What? Kanakistan. And Mandela Effect could see Seeking Stalwart. Haven't seen you in. He says it's Canuck. Canuck. Is it Canuck or Canuck?
Seeking Stalwart.
You're all wrong. It's Chanook.
Chanook.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot our country was renamed to China.
China Day, yeah.
So, yeah.
Or Americanadian.
Well, soon we're probably gonna be melting in with you, Jeff. Don't worry, because China does coming everywhere. They're buying
sure
us
is.
over too. So
Algebraically, you rearrange for you. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word right now. You rearrange for you,
to get your
and then you
constant
do a
down.
whole bunch of equations, the Gibbs-Durham equation, the Euler equation. You put those together, you integrate, and the such, and you end up with an expression for entropy. This is entropy. Mu here, by the way, mu is the chemical potential, I believe it's called, what I talked about earlier. So this is the entropy for an ideal monotypic, so with only one type of gas in it.
Yes, exactly. So ideal for one gas. So you're literally just sectioning out a singular gas in the ideal equation. Yeah, get it. But how does this prove entropy is not thermodynamic process?
It like
While it literally shares it in there. What?
only hydrogen or only oxygen. This is the entropy for the ideal gas, depending on all of these parameters.
Yeah.
C is a constant, by the way.
No, really.
So, and I would like to make this very clear, entropy is a quantity. You can calculate it and you get a value out of it.
And he's making my point again. What have we been saying this whole time? Entropy is the quantitative measure of the thermodynamic process. So in other words, it's just explaining the thermodynamic process. Entropy is thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is entropy. Get it? It's just the quantitative measure of the thermodynamics. So it is thermodynamics, just like thermodynamics is entropy. When we type in what is the second law of thermodynamics, it gives entropy. What is entropy? The second law of thermodynamics. Why? It's the same thing. Entropy is just a word to describe it. It's like saying water's not water if I call it H2O. You understand? So H2O is not water now because I explain it in the molecular level.
Wow.
It's still water.
Wow.
Or if you call it dihydrogen monoxide.
Exactly. No, now it's definitely not water, mate. Sorry. What the hell? What is wrong with these people?
The unit for entropy is joule per Kelvin. Entropy clearly is a quantity, and it's not just me saying that. I got that straight out of Callan's book, by the way. He does the same calculation. So, you know, please, Flatzer, please, if you could, show me where I'm wrong. Or is Callan wrong, the professor of
Callan's saying exactly the same thing as us, mate. I don't know what's wrong with these people. I mean, just like when we get with STC, where he does my demonstration again and then says I'm wrong while he did my demonstration.
Listen, Phil Bell says he's a professor and he's always wrong. So
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
just because you call yourself a professor don't mean you're right.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
He's definitely not a professor. I mean, he wouldn't show no kind of credentials. He wouldn't even give you a flicker of the corner of a certificate. You know what I mean? So,
Didn't you get that definition from a book that was on thermodynamics?
yes. Yes, you did.
Funny.
Really weird, eh? And then claiming it's not. As I say, this whole book is him saying the same thing as us, and he's telling us we're wrong. This was just like with STSE, with the last stream, where he says, oh, look, I'm lying with my demonstration. He goes and does exactly the same demonstration, and then says I'm wrong. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
thermodynamics? I'm curious about what you think about that. Also, a brief explanation about units, because you seem to get that one extremely wrong.
What? Okay.
Extremely wrong. Is that 1 meter, for example, right here, is length. So
No shit, Sherlock. 1 meter's length? Oh, I thought a meter was height, guys. Oh, wait, I thought 1 meter was speed. Really?
quantify.
Oh, 1 meter
distance.
can be height.
Oh, yeah. But it's that, then you're not explaining as length, though. Length, width, breadth, and height? But you can use 1 meter as height if you wanted to, correct? He says length equals quantity, not process. Okay. Can you have a quantity in that 1 meter? Correct? So like if I had that marbles and I threw it out the floor in a 1 meter span, it has a quantity over the 1 meter. Or if you travel over that 1 meter, you're traveling, you're giving a unit.
yeah, like 1 meter.
You can have velocity, you can have speed.
Second or whatever.
Or I can calculate how much power I've used by traveling that 1 meter.
Yeah.
So this is just a non sequitur the guys pushed in. I don't know. Really being stupid, actually.
So the length to things, right? So clearly, it's a quantity, it's not a process. Here I have velocity. That's my attempt at drawing a bicycle. I do apologize. Let's say the bicycle is going 5 meters per second, right? Then that's a velocity, and it's used to quantify how fast stuff is going.
But it's a process that you're quantifying, correct?
Of course it is.
That bike moving at 5 meters a second
You have
has
to
a
go to-
process.
yeah, you have to go from A to B to get that to get that measurement.
That's a
of speed.
process, yeah. So you're quantifying the process.
Yeah.
Just like, let's say I draw a 1 meter line out. you had a process of drawing that meter out, correct? So you're quantifying the process out of making a 1 meter measurement. Oh, I don't understand what's wrong with this guy.
It's making my whiskers grey.
Yeah, it's like the most simplest thing he doesn't get. How did he pass this course if he doesn't get this simplest form of what entropy is?
It's a quantity. Velocity is a quantity, not a process. Velocity can be used to describe a process, but it itself is not a process.
Okay, show me how you have the quantity without the process, please.
Exactly, you have to go through the process to get to the full quantity of that state where you're going to.
Exactly. No process, no quantity. No quantity, no process. If you don't have a bike, you can't do the process. If you can't do the process, you can't do the quantity. They're the same thing. They just explain different parts of the same thing.
Yeah.
And a bit more complicated, that's my attempt at
3
drawing
kilowatts,
a
okay.
piston, from an engine. But also, again, I do apologize.
I was wondering
Power.
what that was because it looked like a plug. But yeah, piston with a conrod, okay.
Like wattage, kilowatts that we have here is power. And power can be used to quantify, or like watts in this case, are used to quantify power. How much energy per second something can use or can create in the sense of...
Yeah, this comes back to the whole water argument. Just because I call water H2O doesn't make it not water. I've just quantified water now on a molecular level. It still means it's water. I mean, really? Oh, really? It's frustrating, actually.
Yeah, this is madness.
transform it from some other sort of energy into, in the case of a motor, kinetic energy, right? It's a quantity, not a process.
Oh, sorry, it is a process. That piston moving up and down is a process, mate. You quantifying the process means you're saying the same thing. You're just describing the process.
Yeah.
So entropy describes the process. So the process is thermodynamics. So entropy is thermodynamics. It's just describing it in a mathematical manner. It's the same thing. It's descriptive.
So things that have units are quantities and are not processes. Entropy has a unit, joule per Kelvin. That means that entropy is not a process.
Sorry, joules per Kelvin, he says, is not a process. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
So if I change temperatures, there's no process involved.
But he's trying to compare entropy with meters. And it's not entropies. How much entropies are there? It's like he's like retarded.
He's got, yeah, it's exactly, it's a total, it's what a category error.
Go on, Jeff, kill it, man, and then we can have it done with it.
He's already killed it himself, mate. Hey, Charlie Welsh, good to see you. It is, it's just category error, exactly, Jeff. This is like, wow.
I can not express myself more simple than that. It's really not difficult, Flatzoid. It's really not difficult.
Yeah, really not difficult.
So, and at the end here, I thought I would give the big explainer, the big brain in the field of thermodynamics, some 3 very, very easy exercises. Here is problem 1. I will quickly read you through it. We got that in the first week when we started our thermodynamics course, so it's really, really easy, really basic. The second one here is which one of the 2 statements, these 2, violates thermodynamic principles, if any. Could be none. Especially regarding entropy, because you know what this S is here? This S here is entropy. Well,
no, really? S isn't entropy, okay, I never knew that.
would you believe it or not? This is taken from the Kalen book, by the way. And the problem 3, my favorite exercise here. By the way, we got that one in the second week of the thermodynamics course, and we got that one in the third week, which is which of the 3 equations. Find the 3 equations of state in the entropy representation for a system with.
Okay, what has this got to do with his argument, by the way, guys?
Not much.
Also, how can entropy represent something if it's not a process?
That's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. So he's debunking his own argument again. Entropy representation for a system with fundamental equations. So a thermodynamic process having entropy as its representation.
I think debatable is trying to say that entropy is a part of that process. It's not the process.
Entropy explains the quantitative manner of the thermodynamic process, mate. It's the same thing. It just explains it quantitatively. It's describing. No process, no describing. No describing, no process. Get it? I can't have nothing doing a process, and I can't have a process if I have nothing. It's the same thing. It's two different sides of the same coin.
I'll have a pound of processed cheese, please.
Ew.
It's like he's saying, I got a coin in my hand, but the one side doesn't mean it's the same coin. That's what he's saying.
2 separate coins.
It's stupid. He's literally fighting idiotic fighter. He's making an argument that's stupid. That's just nonsensical. And I want to know, anyway, what does it prove to him if he wants this to be true, which is not true? What's it going to prove? Because at the end of the day, you still require containment to hold in gas pressure. You still require heat energy for it to transfer. You still require a thermodynamic system to exist. It doesn't change reality, no matter how he wants to look at it. It stays what we see it as.
The fundamental equation. Here is the fundamental equation. And do you see this S here, the small s? That's the intensive entropy. So I doubt that you know what an equation of state even is, but you can teach me better. You can let me see that I'm wrong here. I would urge you to do all of these 3 problems to show me that I'm stupid. If not, I will publish the result videos of how I would solve them in like a month or so, I guess.
In a month.
And with that, I thank you very much for watching. This has been by far the most work that I've put into a video, with all of the cutting, with all of the preparation, with all of...
It's my pleasure, mate. Just want him to actually make a concise argument what his issue is with entropy and thermodynamics. Have you guys... I still haven't figured out what his problem really is with them being the same thing.
No. It's about...
It makes no sense.
Well, this will be my go-to channel when I'm struggling to get to sleep.
Well, I have to admit, he's not one of the most exciting guys, though. And, I mean, he's done the 27 questions trying to answer it. I'm not sure Michael would love to watch that. That's quite slow.
What?
He's tried to answer the 27... Yeah, he's tried to answer the 27 questions. So we can still go through that as well. But it's a long series. It's a long series.
Who was it that did the questions before?
Last guy with that triggered limey, wasn't it?
Triggered lime, yeah.
Oh, in fact, I know. Phil didn't do him, did he?
No.
Said he was going to be then.
Yeah, he said he was busy with him, remember?
Yeah.
But it just like Rumpus was busy doing his Bedford level experiment 3 years ago.
I think it's 4 years ago now. It's when Ranty on the...
I haven't seen Phil since I've been calling him water treatment guy.
Water treatment. Big water heat. Big water on that one.
Yeah, so... any closing words?
Well, like I think it's semantics, isn't it? He was describing the same thing, just not calling it the same as what
Exactly.
you were calling it. Yeah, it's just describing the same thing as far as I can see.
So I can literally just change the name to Fighting Semantics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think he's just trying to figure things out.
Maybe.
He sounds pretty young, right?
Yeah.
He's probably only
And,
just started doing it and thinks he knows it all or something like. But
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of times when you get young people, they think because they finish school and they have a degree, now they're the smartest person in the world, right?
Yeah.
So.
Right. Right.
Yes, I'm going to do the 3 problems at the end of the videos, mate. I'll do a video on them. How's that? Because I'm definitely not going to do it now. It's 12 o'clock at night and I've got family sitting here waiting for me to finish my stream as well. So, yeah.
Good job. Was it a little birthday party you had today?
It was my daughter's birthday. It was great. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, that's
What's
true.
first this morning was my son's first school play. So we went to go watch that concert thing. That's quite cool. So after rushing, get all that done, we got home, rushed, and then did the party, and then came back, got everything, and that was the stream. Yeah.
did you have
That was my
like
day.
all
Yeah.
your daughter's friends from school and that?
Yeah, I actually had some friends over. Had some.
I
We had some
bet it was
family.
manic.
Oh, they enjoyed it. Yeah, no, they were crazy.
Yeah, kids are crazy, aren't they? Love it.
But yeah, it was really great, guys. Thank you for us for coming. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Good stuff.
It was a huge show. So thanks, guys, if you have hit the likes and shared the show. Really appreciate it. And thanks all for your support in the backgrounds and all that. You guys rock. I'll see you all then tomorrow night for another special stream. How's that
bless.
sound? Okay, blessings, guys. Cheers.
No.